pivotal moment when the absence of the narcissist ceases to gnaw at your heart. It marks a monumental milestone. It's akin to the cosmos whispering subtle cues that this individual, who failed to recognize your worth and perhaps even besmirched your reputation among others, holds no significance anymore. It resembles navigating through a labyrinth of adversity, fortifying your mental, spiritual, and emotional fortresses to impenetrable levels. Through this endeavor, you erect a sturdy barrier safeguarding your entirety, body, intellect, and essence, and obliterate any lingering vestiges of attachment to them. This forms the essence of embracing the no-contact strategy. When they endeavor to stage a comeback, sowing seeds of discord and attempting to reignite the flames, it serves as their opportunity to confront reality. Let them confront their own narcissistic reflection and acquaint themselves with your disinterest. Advise them to seek dominance elsewhere because you've transcended it. Make it unequivocally clear that negotiation holds no sway. Employ direct communication to elucidate the terms, yet maintain a compassionate tone. They require a dose of reality, but it's not about cruelty. Your words can serve as a beacon of awakening for them. However, exercise caution to avoid excessive hurtfulness in your discourse. 1. The awakening call. To break free from the ensnaring allure of narcissism, one requires a thunderclap of enlightenment. These individuals inhabit a realm of self-delusion, withdrawing into the shadows after ensnaring their victims, cloaked in a veil of ambiguity. Even amidst their silence, a part of them clings to the belief that you yearn for their return in secret. It's time to stand resolute and declare, "Narcissist, your reappearance no longer tugs at the strings of my heart. Our paths shall never intertwine again. You hold no entry to my inner sanctum. Our dialogues have reached their conclusive final." 2. The vigilant observer. A narcissist's keen eye misses nothing as they meticulously observe every move of their target. They navigate social media with the finesse of a detective, seemingly delving into minds. Their strategies are cunning and precise, leaving an unsettling trace, a blatant sign of their manipulative games. One particularly memorable instance involves what appears to be an innocuous gesture. Though seemingly insignificant, for the narcissist, it's a cruel tool for mockery and degradation. They revel in their actions, only to be blindsided when they realize the target harbors no desire to reignite the flame. The stipulation for reconciliation, a drastic shift in their toxic conduct, leaves the narcissist shaken. They retaliate, attempting to expose the target's alleged faults, yet only unveiling their own deceit for all to witness. An alarm bell rings when the narcissist's prying eyes are caught. It's when the target, perhaps exploring online dating, discovers the narcissist lurking on their profile. The selection of a specific profile picture is a deliberate move to unsettle, a glaring reminder of the narcissist's incessant surveillance. Now teetering on unstable ground after causing turmoil and overstepping boundaries, their desire for the target's return persists, unyielding and fervent. 3. The journey to liberation. At a certain juncture in life, you suddenly find yourself liberated from the tormentors who once plagued you. After yearning and anticipating their return, a shift occurs within, declaring, "I no longer crave their presence." It's akin to the dissipation of fog at daybreak. Regardless of one's beliefs, there comes a time when one confidently asserts, "I no longer pine for them." If you're presently ensnared in that yearning, do not allow it to weigh you down. We all aspire to that moment, when the longing for their return diminishes. This transformation is empowering. By establishing clear boundaries and unequivocally expressing disinterest, you seize control. So safeguard your emotions, maintain composure, and respond with equanimity, unaffected by their tactics. 4. Establishing boundaries and empowering mindset. At times, a tempest of insults and frustrations brews within, tempting one to unleash a torrent of words. I was naive to chase after your elusive shadows. You're an enigmatic entity unworthy of my time. Yet, it's imperative to filter these sentiments, ensuring they align with one's intentions. Speak your truth, then relish the empowerment as you press delete and block, expunging them from your life, a resolute declaration of their transgressions. We are often cognizant that our words scarcely penetrate the armor of narcissists. They manipulate conversations to suit their narrative. Nonetheless, articulating our position devoid of overwhelming emotions is paramount. There's no welcome mat for their return. Should they attempt to reconnect, firmly shut the door. Consistent rejection aids in fortifying robust boundaries. When a narcissist discards or mistreats us, it's not necessarily final. It's frequently a ploy for attention, whether positive or negative. Any emotional investment we make fuels their insatiable appetite. Our assertion signifies their unwelcome status in our lives. 5. Contemplating the past. When navigating the intricate dynamics, particularly those involving children in interactions with a narcissist, adopting a deliberate and strategic approach is essential. Establishing and upholding clear boundaries can prove instrumental in maneuvering through these tumultuous waters, with the grey rock method serving as a valuable resource in this endeavour. The initial step in implementing this technique is prioritizing the well-being of the children. This entails placing their needs and interests at the forefront of interactions with the narcissist. It must be unequivocally stated that any discussions unrelated to the children are strictly off-limits. By setting this firm boundary, you preempt any clandestine efforts by the narcissist to reignite past connections or manipulate the situation to their advantage. It's crucial to underscore that maintaining these boundaries demands considerable resolve and fortitude. One must remain steadfast in their commitment to prioritizing the children's welfare and refraining from becoming entangled in extraneous matters. Through this approach, a powerful message is conveyed to the narcissist. You make it abundantly clear that their past hurtful actions have neither been forgotten nor forgiven. By confronting the repercussions of their actions, individuals are compelled to face accountability, a crucial step forward. Additionally, employing the grey rock method effectively and asserting these boundaries safeguards not only your children, but also articulates your own needs and desires. It signifies a stance for righteousness and equity, ensuring that the children's well-being remains paramount in interactions with the narcissist. Despite its challenges, this approach serves as a potent tool for nurturing a healthy and harmonious relationship amidst dealings with a narcissistic individual. Narcissists often deploy various strategies to re-establish connections, emphasizing the necessity of not only identifying these tactics, but also summoning the resilience to withstand them. These encounters may become routine as you navigate through interactions with a narcissist. However, opting out of their manipulative schemes and games empowers you and deals a significant blow to their inflated ego. Consistently rebuffing their attempts to reconnect can profoundly affect their ego, diverting their focus away from you and compelling them to reassess their approach. This consistent resistance to the narcissist's overtures marks a pivotal moment in your journey of healing and self-preservation, signaling their loosening grip on your life. It prompts them to confront the futility of their actions, potentially redirecting their attention back to you. This shift in focus signifies a crucial juncture in both your healing journey and their own ego evaluation. Unintentionally exposing these vulnerabilities in their facade is an inherent aspect of your path toward healing and self-discovery. We value the time you've invested in exploring these insights. Hey there, welcome back. Thanks for joining us today. We're delving into a thought-provoking topic: why narcissists seek to dismantle relationships. It's quite perplexing, isn't it? If you're enjoying our discussion, remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and perhaps share it with your friends. When you're entangled with a narcissist, they have a laundry list of desires. They covet your empathy, love, time, and energy, essentially anything you possess. They set their sights on your finances, social standing, and even your social circle. They crave it all. It's as if they possess an insatiable void that constantly needs filling. Remember, narcissists thrive on taking, and when you're depleted, they demand even more. But here's the twist. What they truly yearn for is witnessing the dissolution of the relationship. They dig their claws in deep, especially once you've made significant commitments. Whether you've professed your love, tied the knot, started a family, established a home, or embarked on a business venture together, that's when the narcissist begins orchestrating its demise. Fascinating, right? Let's delve into why. Sometimes, this unraveling occurs shortly after marriage or a relocation, whether it's to a distant locale or just a new neighborhood. It could also transpire following a business partnership, particularly if your associate turns out to be a narcissist. Alternatively, it may unfold after you've entrusted them with financial resources or included their name on property deeds. Narcissists are adept at donning masks and manipulating others. They ensnare individuals in a web of false affection, despite lacking the capacity for genuine love or empathy. Instead, they feign humanity, empathy, and love, all of which are merely facades. They possess the uncanny ability to regurgitate past conversations, often observed fixating on their target with dark, consuming eyes. However, their ultimate aim is to dismantle the relationship, persistently striving to achieve this once they believe they have their victim ensnared. Following the initial love bombing, the cycle of narcissistic abuse progresses to the devaluation stage. Victims find themselves ensnared, grappling with confusion, and yearning to reclaim the initial euphoria. Regrettably, this elusive state remains beyond reach, replaced by intermittent glimpses of false hope, love, and empathy. Such dynamics are inherently unsustainable, as every narcissistic relationship harbors an expiration date, with the facade inevitably crumbling over time. Typically, the cycle concludes with the discard phase, or of the termination of the relationship, sometimes followed by a phase known as the hoover. It's crucial to remain vigilant, particularly during vulnerable periods like the holiday season, as a hoover, a rekindling attempt by the narcissist, may occur if contact remains unsevered. To break free from the cycle of narcissistic abuse, it's essential to cut off contact, block the narcissist, remove them from your life, and commence the healing process. The 4 phases of narcissistic abuse persist in a repetitive loop, driven by the narcissist's insatiable need to dismantle relationships. Through various examples, we'll explore how and why they enact this destructive agenda. In the realm of relationships, a pivotal moment arises when they perceive they've secured your commitment, initiating a phase of subtle testing through withdrawal. Recall those initial stages, characterized by vibrant text exchanges adorned with heart emojis, puppies, rainbows, and smiles. It resembled a playful dance. Yet, as time unfolded, the narcissist gradually diminished these expressions until they vanished altogether, leaving you puzzled by the sudden shift. In truth, the foundation of the relationship was unstable from its inception, precariously built upon shaky ground. Despite recognizing this instability, the narcissist ensnared you within its confines, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and perhaps even financially. Even amidst recurrent attempts to sever ties, you emerged as the adhesive binding the fractured pieces together. Your generosity knew no bounds, driven by a tendency to please others, or an aversion to uttering the most challenging word in the English lexicon. No. Declaring no translates to affirming oneself. Vigilantly monitoring the relationship, the narcissist scrutinized your texts, gauged your emotional responses, and even scrutinized your demeanor for signs of excessive joviality. They questioned innocuous gestures like waving to strangers, endeavoring to dim your radiant essence. Despite their endeavors to drain your vitality and envelop you in a fog of devaluation, their success remained fleeting, until it faltered. Navigating relationships can prove arduous, particularly when entangled with individuals who harbor selfish inclinations, prioritizing their own interests above all else. Enduring the aftermath of a challenging breakup, whether as the initiator or the forsaken party, poses formidable trials. Engaging with someone who exudes self-centeredness entails considerable hardship. If you've endured the tumult of a breakup, rest assured, your experience is understood. Whether tasked with delivering the agonizing blow of termination or bearing the brunt of abandonment, intertwining with an individual consumed by self-interest yields adverse outcomes. If you've never experienced such a relationship, count yourself fortunate. It's encouraging to see you seeking wisdom and sharing experiences within this community. These authentic narratives serve as valuable lessons, empowering individuals to grow stronger and evade entanglements with self-absorbed partners. Many of us here have traversed such tumultuous waters, and it's through our shared stories that we aim to shed light on the perils of relationships with individuals who prioritize their own interests above all else. Let's delve into life post-breakup. It's undeniably challenging. You find yourself delving deep within, endeavoring to rediscover your identity after tethering it to someone who failed to reciprocate care. It's akin to uncovering a solitary blade of grass in a vast expanse. Yet, amidst the struggle, moments of enlightenment emerge. You begin to comprehend the insidious cycle of abuse perpetrated by these individuals. How did this realization dawn upon you? Perhaps you sought solace in online resources addressing relationship woes, or a compassionate soul shared illuminating videos. Suddenly, you're thrust into the realm of toxic personalities and narcissistic behavior. Why? Because your erstwhile partner thrived on sowing chaos to assert control, leaving you ensnared in a mire of confusion and uncertainty. How did you navigate this labyrinth of emotions? Tears may have flowed freely, your physical form may have fluctuated, and the quest for understanding may have seemed insurmountable. Processing the remnants of a relationship, spanning perhaps many years, unveils a reality starkly different from your perceptions. Eventually, acceptance dawns. The realization that your former companion never harbored genuine love, displaying a callous disregard even for their own kin. They epitomize hollow vessels, seeking to siphon energy and resources from unsuspecting souls. At some juncture, you were but one among many, subject to their relentless exploitation. Following a challenging breakup, you found yourself yearning for closure and answers for the shattered remains of your relationship. Despite your earnest efforts to foster a deep connection and collaborative bond, the realization dawned that your well-being was never truly a priority for the other person. Reflecting on the past, you now recognize the warning signs that had been subtly present all along. The abrupt cessation of lively emoji-laden text exchanges served as an ominous indication of trouble brewing. Similarly, The gradual erasure of your presence from social media narratives, particularly following the wedding vows, unveiled a pattern of deceit. Behind the facade of commitment, they clandestinely sought validation and flirtations from a global audience, preserving the illusion of singularity. Such behaviors merely scratch the surface of narcissistic tendencies. Ever pondered the rationale behind individuals possessing multiple smartphones? While not every individual with several devices fits the narcissistic mold, it's a tactic often employed to facilitate clandestine communication and garner attention from external sources while ostensibly committed to a relationship. Consider it a fragment of a larger scheme, enabling them to satisfy their desires surreptitiously. Now, the concept of owning 3 smartphones might strike as peculiar. However, let's dissect its purpose. One device caters to professional endeavors, another for everyday affairs, and perhaps an additional one for discreet interactions. While seemingly extravagant, this trifecta of gadgets serves as tools for narcissists to dispense manipulation, abuse, and punishment, all while maintaining a veneer of normalcy. Consider this scenario. Whether you were married or not, in their company, how often did they stride ahead of you during outings? Whether it was a casual barbecue, a leisurely stroll through town, or a visit to neighbours, they consistently opted to walk separately, eschewing conversation, hand-holding, or displays of affection. Their deliberate choice to walk ahead served as a tactic to sow distance and gauge your tolerance for their disrespectful conduct. If you dared to assert a boundary or address their behaviour, they would dismissively label you as insecure or assert that you were fortunate to have their companionship, subtly undermining your confidence. Now, envision this. As you accompany them to a social gathering or neighbour's house, they intersperse the journey with such cutting remarks. Instead of feeling cherished and valued, you're left bewildered and disheartened. Despite attempting to mask your discomfort with a forced smile, the narcissist gleams with satisfaction, having secured their desired emotional reaction by diminishing your worth. This repetitive pattern persists because the narcissist's ultimate goal is to dismantle the relationship. With each instance, they subject you to these manipulative tactics, intensifying the cycle and making it increasingly arduous to extricate yourself. Their testing extends to the start of each day. Imagine this. You wake up needing a ride to work, and the driver happens to be a narcissist. What unfolds during the car ride? Perhaps you're met with stony silence or subjected to a litany of accusations for imagined wrongdoings. They might also inundate you with a laundry list of tasks to tackle post-work, leaving you feeling overwhelmed and diminished. Upon arrival at your destination, you're left bewildered by the abrupt shift in demeanour, transforming from aloofness to apparent contentment, all while concealing their true intentions behind a facade. In hindsight, their behaviour becomes clearer, but in the moment, the emotional entanglement makes it challenging to perceive. At that stage, you're likely deeply attached to the narcissist, even though they are incapable of returning your affection. Secondly, while you're investing effort into nurturing the relationship, they are actively working to sabotage it. Thirdly, you find yourself mired in confusion as you continue to give excessively. You toil tirelessly to mend the fractures in the relationship, only to realize later, upon reflection and healing, that it was doomed from the start. Every narcissistic relationship has an inevitable expiration date, and yours was no exception. That's the cycle in a nutshell. While you pour your energy into salvaging what's left, the constant remains the narcissist, not you. Reflect on how frequently the narcissist would isolate or alienate their own family members, whether it be their mother, siblings, children, colleagues, acquaintances, or members of the community. It's the narcissist who harbors the issues, and their aim is to undermine any meaningful relationship you hold dear. This is their modus operandi. If you're unfamiliar with terms like stonewalling, silent treatment, rage outbursts, verbal abuse, triangulation, or gaslighting, you're facing an uphill battle. You're up against an insidious force intent on crushing your spirit. And when I say crushing, I mean it wholeheartedly. They have no interest in seeing you thrive, discover your true self, or embark on a journey of healing. Narcissists are bent on stripping you of everything, from your confidence to your resources, leaving you utterly depleted. Divorcing a narcissist can be a protracted ordeal as they relentlessly pursue their own interests, fixating on financial gain rather than genuine concern. Eventually, they discard you and move on, leaving you emotionally and mentally drained. However, with time, people begin to see through their facade, discerning true honesty and kindness. Remember, genuine character always shines through eventually. Embrace those who embody authenticity, illuminating your path forward. Now, let's flip the script. When you're entangled with someone toxic, constantly immersed in negativity, whose sole aim is to drain and dismantle relationships, their true nature inevitably emerges over time. Each broken relationship, each instance of causing chaos, adds to their legacy of destruction, ultimately haunting them in the future. This is why they often harbor deep-seated anxiety, evade introspection, shirk accountability, and exhibit a blatant disregard for anyone but themselves. Their behavior mirrors that of petulant children, resorting to bullying tactics, all while harboring an emptiness within. They are fully cognizant of their actions and the repercussions they entail. Before we wrap up, let's address a common inquiry. Do these toxic individuals comprehend the impact of their actions? Yes, they do. They inhabit the same reality as you, experience the same events, and possess a clear understanding of the fallout resulting from their behavior. Deliberately fracturing relationships is part and parcel of their modus operandi. For them, the allure lies in ensnaring you or ensnaring you in a toxic dynamic. It's a means of garnering attention. The subsequent stage involves extracting everything they can from you, a process that gratifies them immensely. Finally, once the relationship inevitably crumbles, they seek solace in playing the victim or shifting blame onto you, all the while seeking out a fresh source of attention. And thus, the vicious cycle perpetuates itself. Why do they dismantle relationships? Because they grow weary and bored of the current one, just as they did with the preceding one before encountering you. Their insatiable need for novelty drives them to constantly seek out new connections, friendships, interests, possessions, and wealth, anything that provides a fleeting sense of fulfillment. They thrive on extracting energy from others, perpetually ensnared in this unending cycle of craving and consumption. They're fully cognizant of this pattern, as are you and I. So, recognize this. They deliberately fracture relationships. It's their modus operandi. That's why it's imperative to sever ties, block them, and distance yourself from anyone associated with them. If not now, then when? If cutting contact proves challenging, simply strive to become uninteresting to them. That's all for today. I trust you found this insightful. Take care, and may you have a wonderful day, evening, or morning, wherever you may be. Remember, you're not alone.